Welcome to Speak for Yourself. Marcellus Wiley here, along a best-selling author.
Sell, not yet, but you look like the sky, so my sky should be as bright if it's as bright as that suit jacket, my friend.
Well, look at this. Am I shining a little light on you today? Well, hopefully I can do that for you viewers as well. Let's get it started with Cam Newton, who led the Patriots to an upset win against the Ravens in the rain. Monsoon on Sunday night. Cam only threw for 118 yards, but he did have a touchdown pass and became the first quarterback in the Super Bowl era with 9 rushing touchdowns in his first 8 games of the season. Patriots are now 4-5 after winning their second straight game. So, Acho, should the Patriots be sold on Cam as their quarterback of the future? Forward.
Forward. Nah, reel it back. Reel it back. Let me first, man, because, again, you have to build up someone prior to tearing them down. Cam Newton, kudos to him. Yes. Executed the Patriot way the last 2 weeks, if I'm being honest, incredibly well, Marcellus. Again, Patriot way, don't turn the ball over, Cam. We have a top 10 defense. Really, they're 11, but I'm going to say they're top 10 because that's what I'm going to do in my book. I don't care if I'm not number 1. Okay? I was best-selling. It don't matter. Don't ask me no more questions.
Obama's not going anywhere.
The Patriots got a top 10 defense. Just don't turn the ball over, Cam.
Yes.
He didn't turn the ball over. Right. They won the game. Against the Jets, he didn't turn the ball over. They won the game. But the reason, Marcellus, he's not, to me, the quarterback of the future is very simple. They don't have much room for error. When you're playing with Cam Newton as your quarterback, when you're playing this type of way, you don't have any room for error. Look at it. Against the Baltimore Ravens, you played basically perfect. You did. You won by 6. Against the Jets, you again played a very clean game. Won by 3. I look at it like this, Sel.
Yeah.
The 4 games the Patriots have won the turnover margin, 4-0. The 4 games they have tied or lost the turnover margin, 0-5. Now, turnovers are an indication of success.
A great indication.
But turnovers should not be the one factor where it's like, hey, if we do this, we will win. They're an indicator.
Okay.
Before every game, your coach, he comes in and he gives you your speech.
Thank you.
We win the turnover margin. We stop the run. We win the game.
We win the game.
We win the game.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be you live and die by the gosh dang thing.
That's what we're doing.
I don't think Cam Newton is the quarterback of the future because while Cam Newton is playing well, while Cam Newton isn't playing bad the last 2 weeks, let me not say he's playing well. If you're a general manager, you're not looking around saying, oh, man, I wish I had 3 touchdowns, 7 interception Cam. That's just not what you're doing, big bro.
Oh, man. Interesting. Cam Newton should be the quarterback of the future as he's the quarterback of the present right now. And you have to keep in context what this present day looks like to Cam Newton. They're not in volume 2 of the playbook. They're in volume 1, chapter 5, chapter 6, not even keeping up week to week because what I love about Cam Newton and what I'm loving about this New England Patriots culture and offense is they're playing into his strengths. Think about it. When you get a guy and you know his comfort zone, but he didn't have the same amount of preparation, the same amount of time, same amount of hands-on work. This is a 20-year-old dynastic culture that now he has to learn in 4 months, and you're trying to abort and trying to resurrect in just 4 months with a new QB1. This is amazing what they're doing right now because they're living in a restricted space, a restricted zone of what Cam's comfortable doing and what they know that they can throw on his plate. But there is an offseason that won't be compromised. There is an offseason you can get into, and you can look at Cam Newton and say, now, let's flip the pages. Let's get through this in real time, real speed. And Cam Newton has the ability to do just that. We're not going to get into his stats and talking about, oh, he's on NFL pace and rushing touchdowns. You know what? Well, his passing touchdowns, that's to me really indicative of how much they trust him. And it's not even a slight. It's like, Cam, the way we play is counterintuitive to everyone else in this league. Everyone else in this league is like, if you want to win big, you got to do it big. You got to make big plays. You got to go out there and reach. You got to go out there and overextend yourself. The Patriots play it close to the vest, including even in the press conference. They keep it right here. They wait for you to lose the game, and then they capitalize on those moments. It seems like, especially the last 2-3 weeks, Cam Newton's finally bought into the Patriot way.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
So he's the future.
No. Heck no. I don't agree with that. The problem with saying Cam is a future is Cam Newton, low risk, low reward. Cam used to be a high-risk, high-reward guy. When Cam won the MVP, 45 total touchdowns that season.
Yeah.
He outdueled Russell Wilson. When Cam won the MVP, high-risk, high-reward. He threw about, I think, 10, 11 interceptions. But right now, it's just like, hey, Cam, if you don't score no touchdowns but score no picks, it's all good. Cam Newton, he's a glorified Wildcat quarterback. And it's not his fault. It's just what it is. 6 out of 8 games, fewer than 175 passing yards. 5 out of 8 games with no passing touchdowns. He is a glorified Wildcat quarterback. Cam Newton, the best thing he's doing right now, and to his credit, he's doing it well, running the ball. But he's not running the ball efficiently. Last 2 weeks, 21 rushes, 37 yards. Sir, he's not being asked to do a ton. So he's not actually doing a ton. I'm not going to rest my future, if I'm a New England Patriots fan, in a quarterback who I'm asking to do so little. Think about it. The Patriots are the best team right now as far as penalties. They're not scoring a ton of points. So if you're winning games with Cam Newton, you have to be convinced, wait a second, I could win a game with any starting caliber quarterback in the NFL.
Nah, that's not what you're thinking. You're thinking we're holding him back because we have to preserve him and his confidence while he learns our way. You got to walk before you run, big dog. You got to survive before you thrive. First, Cam Newton came out there, beginner's luck, whatever you want to call it. He hit the ground running. He said, I got ability. Then he looked at the playbook. He's like, nah, I'm good. Let the playbook learn me. I don't have to learn the playbook. And then the playbook said, oh, we're going to fight back. This is the Patriots. The way that we play ball is a little different. So then you find Cam Newton and the COVID derailing this team, derailing Cam Newton, finding his way again. What did the teachers used to say growing up? It's easier to get an A than to keep an A. Think about it. Like, I used to sit there and be like, that don't make no damn sense because it's hard as hell getting an A, let alone keeping an A. But what they mean is this situation, this circumstance. Okay, Cam, you hit the ground running the first couple weeks. Then you got knocked off your square. What did you do? Oh, you rebounded. Now we think we have something in you in terms of how you can take this in, your character, how you're going to adopt and adapt to this offense. Look at Cam Newton now, one of 4 quarterbacks this season with 3 games passing over 76% completion percentage. I'm going to say that again because we're talking about Cam Newton. Remember, the only wart on his game for so long was he's not accurate. He can't throw over 60%. And Cam Newton, who still has a historically low completion percentage, 3 games, only 4 quarterbacks done that this year. Come on, you got to start to put this thing together, this puzzle together, this Tetris together. Cam's the future.
There's a reason, Sal, when you do statistics, that you have to have a minimum number of attempts to qualify. Marcellus Wiley, if I was to play in an NBA game and shoot 2 free throws, shoot 100% from the free throw line, that's not a qualifier.
But he qualifies.
He doesn't qualify.
He just doesn't have the astounding stats that you want. You want something insane. You want him to have 20 touchdowns. I get it, but he doesn't have a 20-touchdown acumen for this offense.
Not even. Here's the thing, sir. You said Cam Newton has to walk before he can run. Cam Newton is still...
What's that?
Crawling.
What's that?
He's still crawling.
You ain't got no kids. You don't know about that.
He's not even walking nor running. I ain't got kids, but I got nephews. Cam Newton is crawling, and that, to me, is the problem. 3 touchdown passes through 8 weeks of healthy play is crawling. 7 interceptions to those 3 touchdown passes through 8 weeks of healthy play is crawling. If all you're doing, not all you're doing, because I got to kudos to him, if he is out here getting his credit for running the ball as a quarterback, but his highest praise is coming by running the ball, which he's not even doing efficiently. He's not doing effectively, but he's doing efficiently. Then he is crawling. I am not going to sit here and say that with a whole nother offseason, the 6 games without 175 passing yards are going to turn into 300 passing yards. I just don't believe that.
So basically, you have such belief in Ezekiel Elliott, who has the same thing in terms of his rushing. Oh, you don't anymore? Oh, good. But he has continuity. So that's something that Cam Newton doesn't even have in the bank yet. The continuity. Look, dog, as well as we're doing in this show right now, and it's been a few months, imagine next year. Imagine when we get an offseason, and to us, the offseason means no football. And we're just going to come in here and start spatting some basketball, splatting all the other ways that we can build up our arsenal. You think we're not going to be better for it? How is Cam going to suffer from it, but we're not?
No, I agree. I think Cam would be better in another year, but that's not the argument.
In the same system.
Agreed. The argument at hand is Cam is actually very bad right now. Very basic. Let me say basic,
Bad
not
or basic?
bad.
Go.
Basic.
Okay.
Let me say basic.
See, look, next year you wouldn't make that mistake. Go straight to basic.
Let me say he's basic.
Okay.
Because he was bad for 3 consecutive weeks. He was bad against the Broncos.
You had COVID yet? How have you performed under COVID yet? You haven't.
He was on the field, sir. Don't tell me he was bad against the Broncos, bad against the Niners, bad against the Bills. Then he came back, and in these last 2 games, he's been basic. I'm not gonna say he's been bad.
Oh, he's been basic?
Yeah, he didn't throw a freaking touchdown pass.
He's been
against the
basic?
Jets.
Okay.
Basic.
Listen to this list: Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Josh Allen, and Kirk Cousins are on the list with Cam Newton. But you call those guys basic? Oh, they're not. You know what they've been doing the last 2 weeks? 5 or more total touchdowns, 650 or more total yards, 2+ wins, and Cam nearly had a 3rd one. But you're calling that basic. That list right there, all of those guys except Tom Brady looks like continuity. But now Cam Newton is just
Marcellus
basic.
Wiley, as much as you and I both appreciate Cam Newton, please do not insult Patrick Mahomes by putting him on the list.
If he performs like Patrick Mahomes in terms of wins, in terms of helping his team, in terms of impact, not production. Production's a different conversation that I'm trying to lend myself to the future once he has continuity, once he understands the playbook, once he's not out there as a thinking player, but a reacting player off impulse.
Here's the issue. What do we know? Of all the starting quarterbacks right now, Cam is a bottom 3 passer. Can we agree on that?
Carson Wentz.
You go Carson Wentz, Cam Newton, Drew bottom 3 passer. So if we're now going to say, okay, Cam, what can you do? You can run the ball, baby. You can run the ball, Cam. Wait, but Daniel Jones, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, they're all better runners right now at the quarterback position than Cam Newton.
You're doing this.
So I'm just wondering, Marcellus, if you were going to mortgage your future for Cam Newton as a Patriot, I'm just wondering, where are your expectations?
Well, first, they're into my options. What are my expectations? What are my options? Am I going to be in the draft in a position to get one of these young studs? Or am I going to look in the free agent market again? No, I'm not. Am I going to look on my roster? No, I'm not. So I'm looking at Cam Newton like, does he have the ability? Does he have the acumen to build him up? He's not a bottom 3 passer. By his passer rating, he's 4th to last. Maybe 5th. Maybe 5th to last. But your point is, completion percentage. I'm telling you, Cam Newton had no issues except one glaring one. He's not accurate with the football. He comes this year, he is 6th in the entire NFL in completion percentage. Imagine that. Cam Newton, that ability. Now you know that kind of character and acumen that buys into a system is now the 6th most accurate.
Here's a problem. Here's a problem with what you're doing. We always say, hey, we use a basketball analogy or phrase of you got to work on your left hand.
Got to work on that left hand.
Talking about if you're right-handed, you got to work on your left-handed layup.
Yep.
Cam Newton, he had to work on his completion percentage.
He did.
But what we say when you got to work on your left-handed layup, we're assuming you're going to maintain all your other abilities.
You're going to still hit the right-hand layup.
Exactly. Cam Newton worked on his left-hand layup, but he can't make the 3 no more. He can't make a free throw. Can't make the right-handed layup. Can't make the jump shot. Can't make the pull-up jump shot. Can't come off a screen and pop and make the shot. So the problem is Cam Newton increased his completion percentage, but what happened to his overall passing ability? Went down. What happened to his explosive running ability? Went down. I'm glad Cam Newton has improved his completion percentage. I'm glad the Patriots are winning. I like Cam Newton.
I can't believe this.
But I wouldn't sit here and say that Cam Newton should be the quarterback of the future.
Well, you are not respecting how things mature. Once again, we always have this debate is really built off the premise of process. And you are a person that I've learned, you like to skip the process. And it's been good to you. Think about it. Like, forget the NFL. I ain't going to play that long. I'm going to become a best-selling author. I'm going to become a host. I'm going to become Acho. Can't even walk down the street now. You need to change the license plates. I'm telling you, people going to know it's you. The point is, you're a megastar right now. And you skipped some steps. And it doesn't work that way for everybody else, big dog.
Sir.
You skip some steps.
No, the thing is, it's not a matter of skipping steps. It's a matter of taking an escalator instead of the stairs.
I understand.
You didn't skip no steps. You just find a way to be more efficient.
Okay.
Cam Newton, he's just not very efficient. So you can take every single stair if you want to, or find a quarterback and it's in a system that you're not going to have to sit up there and climb up every single step.
Or find someone like Acho who learned the design of what his course was, his terrain was, studied it, said, I know how to anticipate what's coming, and I know how to be in charge of my moments. Cam Newton's not in charge of his moment set. He's still in one ear hearing Belichick tell him, you know what the Patriot way is. And in his other ear said, you know what Cam is, Superman. And that's the tear right now. In this offseason, I think you get to get the best of Cam Newton and you get to see next year the best of the Patriots. Coming up at the top of the hour, we have more on the Patriots. We'll tell you if they're legit playoff contenders or skipping stairs. I don't know what the hell. But first, Russell Wilson didn't look like an MVP candidate Sunday. We'll tell you if he's actually hurting the Seahawks. Next, speak for yourself. Can't skip steps, y'all.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Russell Wilson had his worst game of the season in Sunday's loss to the Rams. He turned it over 3 times, and the Seahawks have now lost 3 of their last 4. Yesterday, head coach Pete Carroll hinted that Russ could be doing too much, saying, quote, Russ would tell you that he always tries hard. He tries as hard as he can, but there is a point in there where you feel like if you don't do something here, maybe it won't happen. And that's where over-trying does take place. You don't see the situation like you would normally see it. You see it with other circumstances and other criteria. It can change the way you perform. Close quote. So Marcellus, is Russell Wilson, is his over-trying hurting the Seahawks?
Yes, it is. And I warned you. I told you when Russell Wilson was going out there playing perfect football that it couldn't last, it wouldn't last because of all the pressure on him with the surrounding issues. And what happens when you're Russell Wilson, you get yourself put in this position where you even realize not a lot of help, especially defensively, obviously, but not a ton of help. So you go into normal moments with this heightened sense of awareness that I have to do a little more to make up for the issues and the deficiencies all around me. So what happens? Over-trying. Now, it's funny he's in this position and now being called out for over-trying because before he was actually over-delivering. And it's interesting how it's always a gift and a curse. The same attribute can be a gift and can be a curse. It's a gift when you're making up for a defense that would give up 35 points a game. But now it's a curse because in certain situations when all you have to do is play it the Patriot way. Just let the game come to you. Stay within your skin. All of a sudden, Russell Wilson can't do that. I told you before. He's walking into the weight room trying to lift the whole weight room. You can't. One dumbbell at a time, one exercise at a time. But he walks in and is like, I got to do it all because all this pressure is on me. So, Acho, I had to go lean into my old bag, you know, my old analyst bag, you know, before I became a personality. I was an analyst, used to break down film. I want you to look at a couple of plays that actually show you what over-trying means at the quarterback position. Let's look at Russell Wilson right here, wide open field. Oh, Russell Wilson, one-on-one with a defender and nothing but pay dirt. What do you want to do? I'd rather throw an interception. That's what Russell Wilson rather do. What in this situation? Oh, you got Greg Olsen there. Oh, I'm going to throw a pick and force it to him instead of a wide open Tyler Lockett. Look at these situations right here. This is what over-trying looks like. Pete Carroll's like, let the game come to you. I understand there are times where you roll the dice, Mr. Gambler. There are times when you go out there and say, hey, let me go out there and see if I can make it work. But there are more times than not where you let the playbook, you let the circumstances, you let what happens on the field actually dictate the terms. Russell Wilson, guilty. Over-trying.
I would love nothing more than to disagree with you and scorch you off the face of the television like a hot take. I would love to.
But you can't.
I can't. You're exactly right, big bro.
How long have I been right on this one, though?
You called this shot. He called glass a long time. He said bank, and he went off the bank and into the bucket. You are right. Russell Wilson is over. It's not even that he's over-trying. He's just, the let Russ cook mantra was always going to fail. And it was always going to fail, and I said this. If one quarterback in the NFL should be allowed to cook, it's not Russell Wilson.
Really?
It's Patrick Mahomes. If one quarterback in the NFL with the plethora of weapons that's already at their disposal, if one should have been allowed to cook, it would be Patrick Mahomes. And what did the Chiefs do this season? Spent a first-round pick on a running back. What did they do during the season? Went and got the best running back in the last 10 years in Le'Veon Bell, statistically speaking. How, if the Chiefs have a chef that should be cooking, they're like, you know what, we're not going to let you cook. That's not the wisest thing in the world. We're going to go get you help. Why are the Seahawks, who actually have a quarterback who shouldn't be cooking as much as other teams, why are they going to let him cook? Now, the only defense I will give Russell Wilson is, what's their other alternative? If Russell Wilson isn't going to go out there and do it, then who is? But let me tell you how and why it's killing him. Chris Carson, running back for the Seahawks, been hurt the last 3 weeks, so okay, we don't want to look at the last 3 weeks. First 6 weeks, he only had 66 rush attempts this year. First 6 weeks of 2019, he had 118 rush attempts. Chris Carson, last year, same running back, same dude. Last year, finished 5th in the NFL in rushing, averaged 4.2 or 4.4 yards a carry. This year, he averages 4.9 yards a carry when he's been on the field. He's actually been a better running back, but he's not getting the carries. 2 years ago, the Seahawks had the best running game in the NFL. Last year, I believe they had the 4th best running game in the NFL. Right now, they sit at 14th. So if you're the Seahawks, y'all put Russ in this position. And what has this position gotten them? I got to go cough first. I got to show you something, Marcellus. I got to show you something. I got more than the full screen.
What you got?
Look at this, bro. Carson Wentz, his biggest stretch of giveaways, his 4-game stretch of giveaways, he gave 8 away from weeks 5 to week 8. Week 1 to week 4, Carson Wentz, 8 giveaways. But Russell Wilson, the last 4 games, Marcellus, 10? I just had to let you and America know Russell Wilson is being, like, historically bad. What's weird about us and Russell Wilson, when he does things great, we're like, oh, my God, great job. But then when Russell Wilson ever makes a mistake, we're like, we didn't say, no. Seahawks fans need to see this. This over-trying is hurting the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, only thing is, take me out of that we, because I'm not a part of that pronoun. I've been on Russell's head all the way through because I just didn't want him to be set up to fail. And he was set up to fail. How was he set up to fail? Well, the defense. We knew that the defense wasn't going to be that good this year. They're playing into that exact same mantra. We're talking about the offense in terms of what they can do in production. And I told you, 2017, when they let Russ cook in terms of his production, in terms of his attempts, they saw the worst success. But then they looked around this year and they said, man, last year we had the running game going. But then the injuries to the point we had Marshawn Lynch in the playoffs. Come on, y'all. We can't go with the running game as our priority. Let Russ cook is a hashtag. It's kind of catchy, and it makes a lot of sense with our defensive issues and our running game letting us down when we wanted them to be reliable. So then you get into a situation like this. And to really dig into what you said, not just the last 4 weeks, 10 turnovers, 7 interceptions, including 3 in the end zone.
Can't do it.
That's 21, maybe 24 points. It's Doug Peterson's coach. 24 points potentially lost because of Russell Wilson. And I am not putting this on Russell Wilson. I'm putting this on the circumstances that were created around Russell Wilson because of their coach. And it's amazing that coach doesn't go out there and give you the credit for really lifting all the boats, lifting what the running game's not doing, lifting what the defense is not doing. But all of a sudden, it screams louder that coach is going to criticize you for trying to do so much and too much in situations he put you in the first place.
The thing we really have to assess, and again, I'm not going to go too hard on Russell Wilson, but we got to come down real because we praise him when he deserves his praise. So let's not all of a sudden act like these 10 turnovers are excusable because of all the pressure, because we didn't give Carson Wentz the same grace.
Well, they ain't the same.
I ain't giving Cam Newton the same grace.
Well,
like, I'm just not giving
But neither one of those guys put in on this. None of those guys came and chipped in on the party. Like, Russell Wilson chipped in on the party. He was the MVP frontrunner. Carson Wentz has been whatever the opposite of that is. And Cam Newton somewhere towards the bottom in the middle of that, right? So you can't criticize Russell.
But now let's go here. Russell Wilson, first 5 games of the season, starts off 5-0. Beat the Falcons. Falcons, we know, bad team. Beat the Patriots. Patriots, we know, not a great team. Beat the Cowboys. Bad team, even with Dak Prescott. Beat the Dolphins, pre-Tua. I mean, not a bad team, but like not a great team. Beat the Vikings. Not a great team. Now the last 4 weeks, what have we seen? They lost to the Cardinals. Cardinals, we know, are a playoff team. Lost to the Bills, playoff team. Lost to the Rams, playoff team. They beat the Niners in there somewhere. I just got to the point, Marcellus, where you have to ask yourself, because you are right, Russell Wilson was the MVP frontrunner through 5 weeks against Falcons, Cowboys, Vikings. I mean, he was. But there comes a point where we really have to assess and say, man, were we bamboozled? And we're Seahawks fans to a degree bamboozled, because I don't know if this let Russ cook mantra, had the schedule been reversed, if it even would have got off the manner in which it had got off.
Golly, I love Acho week 6 take and week 10. You know why? Because it's going to sound different than week 1. Because, boy, you over here fully now. When I was saying, why do we have so many segments of you arguing me? What are you talking about? He's killing him. He's Russell Wilson. I was like, he's not only been here before 3 different times in his career, but he's going to do it again. It's just a setup for disaster. So with friends like you, Acho, who needs enemies? Because you're going to flip on them anyway.
Wait.
You don't flip on
I feel like it's with enemies like me who needs friends. Because technically I started off as enemies, but I'm your dog right now on this side. So with enemies like me, who needs friends?
But I got to speak for Russell right now. Like, where's the Acho support right now? Now you're bringing out the receipts, who you're playing against. You know it's bad when you start saying, man, who you do that against, though. But when he was doing it, you're like, I'm all good with that. That to the side. It's amazing how many times this happens in the NFL when you're not set up to go out there and play optimal football, set up to succeed to your fullest. We're going to talk about this with Lamar Jackson out in Baltimore. We're seeing it right now with Russell Wilson. It is amazing to find the equilibrium, what Tom Brady had. And I remember being an active player, and it was almost this jealousy conversation going on of why in New England does it just work? Why in New England is there just this balancing act, this equilibrium between a top scoring defense and having the offense that can support that or even enhance that? I remember watching Mike Vrabel. Let me give you a jealous moment because I don't like to just talk in general. I remember watching Mike Vrabel. He got drafted the same year as I, lower than me. I was more talented, but I thought he was a better football player. And he started off slower than maybe I did because I was a backup. Mike Vrabel was out there playing already, but just, whatever. He hit New England, and everything changed, and I got jealous. I was like, what the hell are they coaching and doing out there where Mike Vrabel shoots past me? But the point of it is sometimes it is a dynamic set of circumstances between coaching, play calling, and what circumstance you put in. Russell Wilson, as crazy as this sounds, was put in a failing situation. For him to do all of this to this point, seems like he overachieved. Coming up, the Cowboys are in last place. Not that much. And I'll tell you why they have no shot to win the NFC East. No, that's Acho talking like that. Where you from? Next. I'm changing that.
I was like, wait a second.
For yourself.
That sounds like something I would say.
It did. Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Cowboys, 2-7, and in a tie for last in the NFC East, but they're not out of it just yet.
Says who?
First place Eagles only have one more win than Dallas, Acho, and the Cowboys have just one more game against a team with a winning record. Also, Andy Dalton is back at practice and could start Sunday. So, Acho, are the Cowboys still alive in the NFC East? Staying alive!
No. Oh,
no,
really? No. They're about as live as your vocal cords. Marcellus, when I would go back to the villages of Nigeria.
Name a village. You always say the villages.
Isukwata, but y'all can't spell it.
Mind.
Exactly. That's why I don't say it. Isukwata, but I just say the village. Okay.
Is that on the south side?
The south side. No, when I go back to the villages of Nigeria, bro, when I was a kid, sometimes the villagers, I would see them slaughter a cow that they would prepare for the rest of those in the village. And after watching them, Marcellus, slaughter this cow, the cow would be dead, but it would still be shaking. It would still be that aftershock. It's dead.
It's dying.
It's dead. No, it's dead, but it's shaking. You know, like, if you see one of them little lizards in your house and you kill the joint, but it's still out there shaking, you see what I'm saying?
We grew up different. All these lizards and cows around you dying.
That's what the Cowboys are doing right now, Sel, because their chances of making the playoffs, they dead.
Yeah.
But that don't mean you're not going to steal a little aftershock. You might see a little aftershock. You might see some kicking. You might see some flailing, but the life is gone. Marcellus, the Dallas Cowboys are the third worst team in the division. I actually think, they're going to get me for this one. I think the Giants are the best. In the division? In the division right now. I know.
You going there?
I know.
180.
I think the Giants actually. Now, mind you, the distance, sir, from first to fourth is not far.
All right,
but I think after watching the Giants are the best, then I think the Eagles, then I think the football team, then I think the Cowboys. Just look at the records. It's not as if to say the Cowboys, who just lost to the Eagles, they're not better than them. So, Marcellus, the Cowboys' playoff chances are gone. They're diminished. They've been gone. I'm going to end my first lap there because I got ammo, but I got to be smart with you.
Yes.
You can't come out throwing all the punches, all the bullets on your first lap because you might bob and weave the first couple. So don't worry. The second lap, I'm coming with a haymaker.
Okay, one, we know they're alive. Whatever you want to say, whether you say they shaking in Nigeria somewhere, they can be shaking wherever you want them to be, but it's still rampart, fibrillator. Boom. There's something there to grab some of this energy that you're seeing circulating around these Cowboys. Like on defense, we saw last year, latter part of the season, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense came to life, and they started to look better in the second half of the season. Wonder if that's happening in Dallas. Oh, yes, it is. Since week 7, we're starting to get some gap between week 7 and now. 11th in total defense. Look at the Dallas Cowboys. We know the special teams were performing well. All they need is adequate quarterback play because 5 wins this division. 5 wins. And you got to think about, why do I say that? I'm not trying to go hot take central. It's because the Cowboys really control their fate going forward in division games. They got Washington, Eagles, Giants. 3 right there, boom, we got the 5 wins. Also, outside the division, Dallas has one of the only 2 wins outside the division. Philly has one against the 49ers, mass unit, and then the Cowboys have one. So think about that. The Dallas Cowboys' second easiest remaining schedule controls their own fate in the division because they get to see everybody, also is in position to take over this. All they need is a quarterback to be stable. Garrett Gilbert, say what you want, close. If we get that effort against other teams going forward, or Andy Dalton, and we know Andy Dalton, late Andy Dalton in the season is more of a winner than early Andy Dalton. Oh, you don't believe that? Okay.
I didn't say nothing.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say, look at his record. You want to go over that? 10th best for all quarterbacks since 2011, week 11 on. I do all my homework, not some of it. Point being, Andy Dalton, Garrett Gilbert, defense, we got a formula, 5 wins, Cowboys win the division.
See, Sal, that's why I don't throw my best punch on my first punch, because I got to know where you coming. Marcellus, you were wrong because you said 5 wins the division.
You don't think?
5 wins the division for the Cowboys. But the Eagles,
what do you think?
The Giants, and the football team, they can all win the division with 4 wins, statistically. I'm not talking opinion-based. You're talking opinion-based. I'm talking facts and statistics. Statistically, the Cowboys have more work to do than the other 3 teams, just based off empirical data.
Explain the 4 first. Yuck. That is terrible. What do you do that day if you win a division and you're 4 wins?
Hey,
what do you do?
What do we do? Think about this.
Where we going?
Think if you win your 4th game of the season, win a division, and you celebrating in the locker room at 4-12.
You can't.
Like, hey, bro.
That's apple cider. That is not champagne. What can you do? We won 4 games.
Actually, I drunk apple cider. Remember, I don't drink alcohol. Martinelli's? Apple cider goes crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress.
I'm with you there.
The Cowboys have more work to do because they got to get to 5, and they currently only have 2. The Eagles only got to get to 4. They currently have 3. Giants, I believe, only have to get to 4, and they also have 3. So the Cowboys have more work to do, but let me also talk to you like this. I think it will take 6. I gave y'all statistical lows. The lowest each team must win to get there. But I think it will take 6. Marcellus, if it's going to take 6, how in God's name do you see the Cowboys winning 4 out of their next 7? If they've won 2 out of their first 9. That is where bump the data, bump the stats. That is where you have to convince me.
You just bumped your logic because you can't sit there and say the Cowboys of the first half of the season is going to be the same team that they're playing and going to roll out in the second half.
That's fair.
Also, the opponents. Let's be real about this. Week by week, we look at the Cowboys differently. Week by week, we look at Washington differently. Week by week, we look at the Eagles, Giants. Look at you. You're doing a 180 on the Giants right now. You see the Giants the last week of the season, week 17. You see the Eagles. You see Washington. Those are my 3 wins in the division, which matters more. But look outside the division. As I said, they are one of 2 wins.
Vikings look good.
I'm not saying it. You notice I ain't saying Jeff Vikings. And even though Baltimore got caught slipping in a monsoon, I'm not saying them. I'm not even going to say Cincinnati. But between Cincinnati, 1 week, week 14, and San Fran, week 15, give me 1. You want it? You want the division? Give me 1,
Here's
Cowboys.
the problem.
That's all I need.
Here's the problem,
and I can get that.
You are banking on... The Cowboys would have to, at some point, win 2 games in a row. Maybe 3. They don't want 2 out of 9. It's not going to happen. Remember, the best thing the Eagles might have done was take the tie. Because if I'm not mistaken, I still think they first in the division.
They are.
Still first in the division because of some rinky-dink tie that they took against the rinky-dink Bengals. Now, shout out to Joe Burrow, but the rest of the squad's still suspect to me. I don't know how it's even possible for this to happen. Think about this, Marcellus. The last time we saw the Dallas Cowboys play, special teams played amazing against the Steelers. Garrett Gilbert, first start in his NFL career, played really great ball. Steelers, they sleptwalked through 2.5 quarters, still won the game. The week before, Cowboys played the Eagles. Carson Wentz, 3 turnovers in the first half. Backdoored with another turnover in the second half. Eagles still won by 14. So I don't know in what world, in what utopian society that you've created as a former Cowboy that you think the Cowboys are somehow, some way alive in this NFC East.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm the ultimate optimist.
You are.
And I understand now why you're such a pessimist growing up around dying lizards and cows everywhere you go. Like, if everything's dying around me, I will be negative as well. But I'm looking at this situation for a different reason. One, you did a 180 on Joe Judge and that culture and the Giants looking better.
Not Joe Judge. No. I'm not giving him Joe Judge yet. I'm giving the Giants.
Okay. Can you give Mike McCarthy, the Cowboys, Mike Nolan, anybody? Can you give them something? They're top 10-ish defense the last 2-3 weeks.
2 weeks.
2-ish weeks.
So they're a bye week.
That counts.
Here's the issue, bro. Think about this. Since week 6, so if you want to go week 7, let's go week 6.
Let's go.
Since week 6, the Cowboys are 0-4. Giants are 3-2. Like, even if you want to talk present tense after Dak Prescott rest his ankle and foot and whatnot, if you want to talk about since then, the Cowboys are still bad. Marcellus, here's my issue with you, bro. Denial. Spelled D-E-N-I-A-L. Don't even know I am lying. You, sir, are still in denial.
Talking about wife.
You don't even know that you're lying to yourself about these Dallas Cowboys. I'm just trying to come here on this show and bring your denial into light.
My wife hates that about me. I don't care what is going on. I'm going to find the one little glimmer of positivity and exaggerate it and enhance it until it blossoms, because someone needs to cultivate that. And I'm the one for the Dallas Cowboys. You don't look at the positives. What did Chris Rock say about crack? Everybody always want to talk about the bad things that happen with crack. What about the good side of crack? You know what the good side about the Cowboys defense is? 25, 23, 24 points allowed the last 3 games. You give them adequate production at the quarterback position. Remember, they're on their 4th quarterback. No stability at that position. But even 19 points in their last game. Adequate, sustained quarterback play will get the Cowboys over this hump.
Here's my issue.
The defense is there now.
If you say the defense for the Cowboys is allowing 25, 23, and 24 points the last 3 games.
24 average, right there.
On average, right?
That's Cowboys get that.
But you don't have to be the best. You know this. You don't have to be the best team in the NFL on any given Sunday.
No.
What you got to do?
Be better than that team.
Exactly.
Just that day.
You just got to be the best
for
team
3 hours, not even the whole day, just 3 hours.
Right. 3 hours. Right. So when the Cowboys held the opponent, when their defense did a great job, held the opponent to 25 points, their offense scored 3. The other defense held the opponent to 3. When the Cowboys defense did a great job, held the Eagles to 23 points, the Eagles defense held the opponent, the Cowboys, to 9. When the Cowboys defense did a great job, held the Steelers to 24 points. Steelers defense did a better job and held the Cowboys to 19. So as good as you want to say the Cowboys defense has been, the opposing defense every week, the last 3 weeks, has been better.
But see, that's not how we're going to climb up this mountain if you're a Cowboy. The way you climb up this mountain is, look, the beginning of the season, look at our offense with Dak Prescott. But then after Dak Prescott, we haven't found our way yet. Look, goodness, Dak was out there scoring some points. Now, they're interdependent, defense and offense.
Let's go here.
They work together, correct?
Fair.
But at the same time, when you have such a grave concern of your defense, it makes the offense suffer. Russell Wilson comes to mind. When he all of a sudden had too much on his plate from the pressure of the defense always giving up points and yards, all of a sudden he commits errors. Now you don't have that anxiety if you're on this team. Now the quarterbacks with stability, no anxiety, can go out there and match point for point.
Let's go here, bro, because some people on this show Marcellus and I, we both went to school so that y'all didn't necessarily have to, because I'm about to give y'all some free game. Sports psychology, there are two terms, Marcellus. You can be task-oriented or you can be goal-oriented.
Yes.
Task-oriented, I want to be better than my former self. Goal-oriented, I want to be better than the person I am competing against. The Cowboys defense right now, task-oriented, sure. They've been better than their former selves. They've been better than they were the week before and the week before and the week before. The problem, Marcellus, is in sports, being task-oriented is irrelevant on game day because it does not matter if you're better than your former self. You have to be better than the opponent. You got to be goal-oriented. And for the Cowboys right now, sir, they task-oriented, but they falling way short of goals.
Damn, I wish I would took that class because it sounds like you got a lot of good game in there. How about this, teacher? Excuse me. How about this? I don't have to get better. They just getting worse. Washington, Giants, Philly, ain't betting on them dudes. Bet on the Cowboys. Why not? How about them Cowboys? Coming up, Lamar Jackson says his team is ticked off after their latest loss. We'll tell you if the Ravens should be worried about the reigning MVP next. Speak for yourself. Does that count? Like, what if they just weren't?
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Baltimore Ravens. Oh, they lost in the rain in New England on Sunday night. And Lamar Jackson has seen his passing and rushing numbers decline from last year's MVP season.
Don't do that.
Well, y'all take a listen to Lamar after their latest loss.
You guys haven't had too many losses like this. How would you describe how the locker room's feeling? How are guys, feeling after that one?
We ticked off. Don't nobody like losing. I know none of you guys would like losing, especially when we know we got a lot of talent on our team. You just got to regroup.
Marcellus. I know I'm worried, but should the Ravens be worried about Lamar Jackson?
No, they shouldn't be worried about Lamar Jackson. Actually, Lamar needs to be worried about the Ravens, especially the play calling, especially the trust level in terms of letting him let loose and evolve as a quarterback, specifically as a passer. One, I need a real wide receiver to stand up, not just tweet, not just say, hey, I'm not being properly utilized. I'm talking about, like, really stand up and be a weapon out there. Make it happen. I'm seeing rookies out there now just coming off the college field to the pro level with suspect quarterbacks. Talking about you, Minnesota. But going out there and balling with Jefferson and Kirk Cousins, right? Like, you don't need everything to be perfect for it to work out. And I just look at this offense, and it's hard for me to grade this week. I would love to have this take after a losing effort in a normal week, because this wasn't a normal week. That monsoon that they played in, those conditions that they played in, everyone's affected differently. I played in Buffalo in the cold. The cold didn't bother me. I thought it would. I'm a Cali boy, but I played in New York City for my years, and I got to Buffalo. I was like, this is fine for me. But opponent after opponent got off the bus, was like, what the hell? How you deal with this, Wiley? I'm like, dog, get it out your head or it's going to show up on the field. Those conditions weren't adequate for us looking at the evolution of Lamar. But that loss was. Like, dial it up right. Dial it up properly, whether we're talking about the fact that they just look like a team that didn't have firepower when I know that they have firepower. So I was really disturbed that there's not a growth process. There's not the evolution as expected with Lamar Jackson, especially as a passer. And it's not because of his ability. I think it's really because of this play calling.
I think the Ravens should be worried about Lamar Jackson, but they should be worried about themselves, to your point. Got to be worried about everything. Okay. The Ravens go as Lamar Jackson goes. Here's why they should be worried about Lamar Jackson. Statistically, he's declined in every category that's a meaningful category from last season to this season. Let's just look at the facts. Can we bring up the wrong direction full screen, please? Passing plus rushing yards per game, down about 30. Passing plus rushing touchdowns, going to be down about 13 total if he keeps up his trajectory. Passing yards per attempt, down. Rushing average, down. Everything, Marcellus, is going down. And not young Jock either. It's all going down. And so if you're a Baltimore Raven fan or if you're on the staff, you have to wonder, is Lamar Jackson going to follow the same fate of other quarterbacks who have been more deadly with their legs than their arm? What do I mean?
I know where you're going.
I said this last week. 2015, Cam Newton goes to the Super Bowl. Best season he had. 2016, 7-9. 2017, won 11 games. I think lost first round in the playoffs. 2018, 2019, 2020, the rest is history. Y'all know how that story unfolded. Michael Vick, #1 overall pick, one of the baddest men I've ever played with. 2004, goes to the NFC Championship game with the Atlanta Falcons. never to return again. Those players who were better with their legs than with their arm, which it has now become unequivocally clear that Lamar Jackson is currently better with his legs than with his arm. Those players, they peak, and then after seeing that peak, they don't return. Now, I don't think Lamar Jackson's bad with his arm. That's not what the heck I'm up here saying. But what I'm saying is, as great as he is with his legs, he's the best quarterback in the game with his legs. He's clearly not the best with his arm. So he is better with his legs than he is with his arm.
Wow.
So for the quarterbacks that we have seen who are better runners than they are passers, Cam Newton, Mike Vick, Lamar Jackson, there is a big history to fight, and that is why I think why the Ravens should be worried about Lamar Jackson.
Oh, okay. Before I bring in someone to help settle this score, how do you declare someone's better with their arm or their legs if last year, a complete year, they actually threw 36 touchdown passes, which was tops in the NFL? I wonder if that guy is pretty good.
Where was he
with his
rushing?
arm. Huh?
Where was he rushing? Top in the NFL.
Yeah. But you talk about who had a better arm last year from the pocket. Who threw more touchdown passes than Lamar Jackson? Anybody? Anybody? It's quiet in here.
Lamar Jackson.
Rest in peace, Alex Trebek, but this is not Jeopardy. Where's the answer? Do you have the answer?
Lamar Jackson is a better runner. He is a better quarterback with his legs than he is with his arm. Like, that is unequivocal. Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback with his legs.
This year,
he is not the best with his arm.
This year, 14 passing touchdowns, 5 picks. Last year, 15 and 5. Damn, if that ain't close, I don't know what is.
Marcellus.
I got you. You said my name.
No, you got me annoyed.
I got
me irritated. I'm not going to do this with you no more.
Dog.
I'm going to bring in Bucky Brooks.
Yeah, bring him in. You need some help.
I don't need no help. Marcellus is annoying me. Bucky, please come educate this man. Should the Ravens be worried about Lamar Jackson?
No. I think Marcellus has it correct. Lamar Jackson should be worried about the Ravens because it's not Lamar Jackson who has changed. It's the pieces around him that are not the same. When you look at the Baltimore Ravens offensive line, it is a shell of what it was a season ago. Because remember, I think this was underrated, underreported. Marshall Yanda, who will go down as a Hall of Fame caliber guard, he retired a season ago. So you lose that piece. You now playing without Ronnie Stanley, who's a Pro Bowl caliber player. You now have Orlando Brown moving from right tackle to left tackle, which we all know is very, very difficult. We have DJ Fluker moving out from guard to right tackle, which that is an uncommon transition at the offensive line. You then have a young guy starting at right guard. And so you don't have the ability to do what they did last year, which was bully people in the running game and protect Lamar Jackson. So part of the reason why he is not as successful as a passer, the fortress in front of him is no longer impenetrable. They now are beginning to get through that. They're not able to impose their will in the trenches. Because of that, Lamar Jackson is affected like many other quarterbacks are affected when their offensive line doesn't play up to snuff.
Fellas, I'm not disagreeing with that. First off, like Bucky Brooks, I think you're exactly right on the fact of Marshall Yanda does not get enough credit, or at least his absence. Nobody talks about that because we really just don't show offensive linemen love. Marcellus, I think that Lamar Jackson should be worried about the Ravens as well. But let's be real, it's a dog-eat-dog world in the NFL. And in the NFL, you're not going to replace the entire organization. But what you are going to do is look at the one player, the quarterback, also the face of the franchise. You all are correct about all the absences on the offensive line, the deteriorating run game, the lack of a playmaking receiver, all that. I'm not going to sit here and argue with y'all on that. But the fact of the matter is, you can point to one guy for the Ravens and say, wait a second, things have changed. He's not peaking like he did. Here is why. Last year, if you're preparing for the Baltimore Ravens, you have 3 to 4 days to prepare. In the NFL, you're off on Monday or you're off on Tuesday. If you're off on Monday, you got a 2-hour day on Tuesday. Wednesday, you got a hard preparation day. Thursday, you come in, another hard preparation day. Friday, you probably have like an 80-play walkthrough. Saturday, you gear it up a little bit, you play on Sunday. Why am I saying this? Because last year, teams had, 3-4 days to prepare for Lamar Jackson. This year, defensive coordinators had, 3-4+ months to prepare for Lamar Jackson. The learning curve and the adjustment curve has currently caught up to the Ravens and their scheme, and Lamar Jackson is a conduit for the scheme. That's why you have to be worried about the one conduit for the scheme, which is Lamar Jackson.
Wrong. It's not about Lamar Jackson, who I continue to highlight is basically on pace with the pace he had last year as a unanimous MVP. Oh, you don't think so? Let's look at the passing touchdowns and the rushing touchdowns.
He's on pace for 13
Just one. Last year, 15-5. This year, he's 14-5. I just don't understand where you're coming from, Macho. But you know what it is? Expectations are necessary, but absurd expectations are just that. Absurd. This guy won 14 games last year as a first-year starter. Did you think he was going to win more this year? Did you think he was going to win the same amount? Or did you think what's happening is reality? He was going to win fewer games this year. Okay, Patrick Mahomes. Hold on. After his MVP year, Patrick Mahomes' numbers suffered, but we weren't saying it's over for Patrick Mahomes. Should we be worried about Patrick Mahomes? And he got injured in that same year, but I digress. Let's look at this. 14-2 last year. Oh, you're one game fewer so far, and we don't know how it's going to pace out, but you're one game fewer in terms of the wins, in terms of that pace. Oh, unanimous MVP last year. Oh, this year, you're 12th in terms of combined touchdowns at the passing and rushing at the quarterback position. It's just absurd expectations. We don't want to highlight excuses, and I don't either. But let's give a reason. Down 3 offensive line starters. Nick Boyle goes out in that same game, your best blocking tight end. And then you lose 4 defensive starters in that monsoon against New England, including Calais Campbell, who went out with the calf. The point is, everything around them is eroding or nothing is blossoming to the point where it can help support what Lamar Jackson has to do as the franchise QB.
You know, what's funny about this is I'm hearing these concerns, particularly coming off the New England game, and I think it's really overblown. And I do believe expectations are playing into the narrative when it comes to Lamar Jackson, because I looked at that same New England defense go against Josh Allen. Josh Allen only completed 11 of 18 passes, 154 yards. He had an interception. He had a passer rating of 65.5. Yet I don't hear the screams about what is wrong with Josh Allen. It is because of the expectations. Because Lamar Jackson has played at an MVP level, we're judging him based on that. And look, that makes sense because he's a fantastic player. But what I will say is some of this criticism should be directed at the coaches. And the coach in particular is Greg Roman. Because when we look at this offense, I think the one thing that has remained consistent when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens struggles in the postseason and in games, I think sometimes the Baltimore Ravens forget who they are and they get away from their identity. So rather than trying to prove to the football world, hey, Lamar Jackson is a great passer, our offense is balanced, sometimes you need to play strength on strength. They are a dominant running team. No one has been able to stop their run game. They need to run and run more often and quit trying to put the ball through the air because they're built to run it. When they do other things, it shows their flaws and really exposes their weaknesses up front.
And it's amazing that they only have 3 losses to the Pats, to the Steelers, and to the Chiefs. All 3 of those defenses, top 11 in the NFL in scoring defense. So other than the rematch that they have against the Pittsburgh Steelers, they won't even see another defense that great going forward. So you look at the strength of schedule going forward for this team, it looks like they could get some wins. They have the #1 scoring defense in the NFL, held 5 opponents to 17 points or fewer this season. Those are the positives. The negative is, like you said, Greg Roman, have you been exposed again? Colin Kaepernick comes to mind, and we saw Colin Kaepernick climb that mountain fast and go down even faster. It looks like another situation happening with another franchise quarterback. I don't think that's coincidence, Acho. Maybe a correlation.
I think there is a correlation, but the correlation for me is this. Lamar Jackson is not only battling the opponents, Lamar Jackson is battling the history of players who have played the game like he has played the game. The history has not bode well in previous times. I'm concerned that it may not bode well for Lamar Jackson. But Lamar's still a dog. He just set the bar real high. Coming up in our big story, the Patriots have won back-to-back games. Okay, Cam. But I'm going to tell you why they're not legit playoff contenders. That's next. Speak for yourself.
You're watching Speak for Yourself. Marcelo Swiley over here with Emmanuel Acho. Got the new iPhone 12. Don't try to hide it. Rich man. New book. Best-selling.
Are you done?
Nope.
Can we get to the
YouTube
show?
series. Host. Just turned 30. This dude over there winning. All right, back to me. Let's get back to the Patriots for our big story. All I got is kids and whining. New England is 4-5 after their upset win over the Ravens Sunday. Patriots still looking up at the Bills and Dolphins in the AFC East, but they have won back-to-back games. Cam Newton said yesterday, quote, "I know that we haven't peaked as a team." Bucky is back with us, but Acho, are Cam's Patriots legit playoff contender.
The operative word there, gentlemen, is legit. Cam Newton and their Patriots won 2 games in a row. Proud of them. Proud of Cam Newton for not turning the ball over. That's why they've won 2 games in a row. But no. That's the short answer. The long answer is just no. But either way, the answer is no. They're not legit playoff contenders. But I would submit this as a reason why. I think they're in the best division in football.
Ooh,
I said it. I think they're the best division in football. Everybody says the NFC West. Oh, the Rams, the Seahawks, the Cardinals. Okay, well, the Dolphins kind of just dismantled both the Rams and the Cardinals. Okay, well, what about the AFC North with the Browns and the Ravens and the the Patriots just beat the Ravens. So I think one of the major reasons why I don't think the Patriots are legit contenders, they're the 3rd best team in their division, and I would make a strong case that they are in the best division or the 2nd best division in football. Maybe not with the best teams, but as far as consistency of the top 3 teams. The other reason is you can only go so long winning these close games. Winning close games is necessary in the NFL. Ask the Seattle Seahawks. That's how they got to the playoffs, winning close games. I think 10 of their 11 wins last year were one-possession games.
Yeah.
But you see, you win close games for too long, sooner or later, some of those coin flips might not go your way. The other reason, my last reason early on, the Patriots don't have much room for error. If they turn the ball over, if they lose the turnover battle, they lose a game. That's it. It's not like, okay, well, maybe if they win the rushing attack, maybe if they get a special teams touchdown. No, if they lose the turnover battle, they lose the game. On one hand, that's great. Just win the turnover battle. But that can be a big ask with a quarterback who has double-digit turnovers in every season he has played healthy in the NFL. So because of those reasons, the toughest division in football, along with the fact of the Patriots do not have much room for error, I don't think that they are legit playoff contenders.
I think they're a playoff contender, and they're legit. You have to understand the road ahead for them. Now, right now, it doesn't look pretty in terms of the number. They're 10th in the AFC. That means with the new playoff seeding that there are 2 teams between them, Tennessee and Cleveland, before they even get into the playoff picture. So you got to leapfrog those 2 teams that have to play each other and that have interesting schedules. I wouldn't say daunting. I would say winnable games, but everything is unpredictable this year for the NFL. But the Patriots, this is their road ahead. 1, buy into your mantra. Don't let Acho be the person that all of a sudden uses peer pressure, negative peer pressure, because people always think peer pressure means negative. No, it can be positive as well. But Acho's a pessimist. So Acho will use his peer pressure for the negative. And he will say, oh, if you don't turn the ball over, that's the only way you can win. Okay, that's a good thing. How do you make that sound so bad, Acho? But you found a way. This is what the team needs to do. You're talking about a team now that is 11th in scoring defense? Interesting. 4th most takeaways? Oh, so those key indicators that lets you know if you're going to win or lose a ball game, the Patriots are starting to surge in those categories. So now if you look at the Patriots going forward, winning back-to-back games, getting back on track like they look pre-COVID, Cam Newton, now you got something to work with. And what is the Patriot way? More so than anything, that more games in the NFL are lost than won.
That's fair.
That means y'all will take care of the dirty work for us. All we have to do is capitalize on it.
Sal, let me give you a harsh truth. I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist. And sometimes the reality can be pessimistic. Yeah, you're born, you suffer, you die. It's not pessimistic. It's what happens on this earth.
Right.
Now, what's realistic with the New England Patriots and Cam Newton is this. Since 2016, Cam has started 4 games. His longest stretch of great play is a 4-game win streak. His even longer stretch of good play was the end of 2017 when the Carolina Panthers, the team Cam was starting for at the time, they finished 7-2. If the New England Patriots finish this season on another 7-2 stretch, that would be the best Cam Newton has played in the last 5 years. If they finish 7-2, they still wind up 9-7. They wind up 9-7 in an AFC team that I think historically for the first time through 10 weeks of play has 6 or 7 teams with 6 wins or more. They wind up 9-7 in one of the most historically competitive AFCs, along with the division where the Bills are now good and the Dolphins are now good, which we haven't seen the Dolphins make the playoffs since, I believe, 2001. So I don't think they are legit contenders, not necessarily because of what they control, but because of what might be out of their control.
Acho, I love this. And I hate that I always end up on the other side of the argument with you, but I'm going to end up on that side. Because I think right now, sometimes when you watch games on Sundays and stuff, you must be looking at a completely different game. Because the New England Patriots that I'm looking at, they have found their identity, and the rest of the AFC should be scared. This happened not against the Jets, not against the Ravens, but this happened against the Buffalo Bills. Because against the Buffalo Bills, in a loss, they discovered who they were. Let me read some numbers because I know you kind of be a data-driven guy. So since the Buffalo Bills game, this is what the Patriots have done when it comes to rushing attempts. 34 for 188 against the Buffalo Bills. 41 for 159 against the New York Jets, 39 for 173 against the Baltimore Ravens. Those reps in terms of running the ball, it has given them an opportunity to really embrace a winning formula. You talked about turnovers. Turnovers certainly are important. What they're doing now by running the football, they're limiting their mistakes, they're shortening the game, and they're making you take the game into the fourth quarter, which goes their way. And since we are talking about stats and you're saying the only way for them to win is to not turn it over, well, that makes sense because the statistics back that up. If you win the turnover battle by 1, you win 65% of your games. If you win it by 2, you win 84% of your game. And oh, by the way, if you're +3, you then win 90% of the games. Bill Belichick is just doing the numbers and say, if we don't give it away, we win games. He has also taken another formula. And look, I know I'm going to hit this debate on Twitter. They're going to say causation and correlation, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. If you have a 100-yard rusher on your team, you win 73% of your games. In 2 of the last 3 games, Damian Harris has gone over 100 yards. Bill Belichick and his staff have come to the fold and said, hey, if we just do these things, we win. And as a result, they're winning. Just telling you.
It's simple like that. He broke it down too much.
Marcellus, is he done with this take? Look, Bucky,
too much for you?
It's not too much. It was accurate, Bucky, but it was incomplete. It was accurate, but it was incomplete. Let me tell you why. Bucky, in college at the University of Texas, everybody knows Texas and they know about 6th Street. It's a party.
Oh, I've been on 6th Street before. Mustard on the beat, bro.
Hey, everybody know about 6th Street.
Get off me.
Here's the interesting thing is you can't get into the club sometimes unless you're 18 or 21, right? And so you have to borrow a friend's ID. You got to borrow a friend's identity so you can get into the club if they're over 21 because you're underage. The trick, Bucky, is not in finding the ID. The trick is actually in duplicating the ID. See, it's easy to find an identity, but the question is, can you make yourself look like that identity every Saturday night when it's time for you to get into the club because there's a bouncer that's going to be checking, oh, nah, that don't look like you. The Patriots found their identity week 1 against the Miami Dolphins. 42 rushes, 19 passes. That was their identity. They won the game. They found their identity. They knew their identity week 3 against the Raiders. 38 rushes, 28 passes. They've known their identity. My issue with the Patriots is not can they find their identity. My issue is when they walk up to the bouncer, the Buffalo Bills, the bouncer, the Miami Dolphins, and they looking, is this you? Is this you? Nah, that don't look. The issue is when they walk up to the bouncer at the club, is the bouncer gonna say, hey, no white tees in the club. Hey, ain't no Jordans in the club. That's the issue, Bucky. The Patriots have known their identity all season long. But Cam Newton, he walks up to the front of the club sometimes, and the bouncer throws him out like Jazz from Fresh Prince. And it's just, ah! That's the issue, Bucky Brooks.
Woo! Is that issue? So I'm very familiar with 6th Street, and sometimes, Acho, when you go to the bouncer, sometimes you have to name drop and tell them who you are, and they let you through. And so when you're Cam Newton, you walk to the door, I think everyone knows who they are. And just like you, everyone in the AFC, they know who the Patriots are. Because those 2 teams that you talk about comprising of the best division in football, the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills respectively, believe they know who the New England Patriots are because the Miami Dolphins, as you talked about, the Miami Dolphins have already handed the Miami Dolphins have already been handed an L. The Buffalo Bills nearly got handed an L by the Patriots. So they know that the Patriots are coming. And on Sunday night, when they were watching those games, they all were cheering for the Baltimore Ravens to knock out the dreaded King because they don't want the King to come back. But no, the Patriots are right there, and they're going to be there because they've embraced their identity. And we've seen them win without Julian Edelman on the field. We've seen them win without all their pieces on the field, Stephon Gilmore. When those guys come back, it then allows them to do more stuff. So even though they're stepping into this identity, they still have the ability to switch it up. I am bullish on the New England Patriots. I don't want to say go get your hat and T-shirt yet, but you can go to the NFL shop and start to make that point.
Yeah, I'm just not feeling Acho's negative connotation to, oh, you win the turnover battle. That's the only way you can win. Like, he's putting a little sourness on something that is known as a fact, as an indicator, and as a measurable for any team to have success. Like, it reminded me of when I was growing up, people used to be like, oh, you going home to study? I was like, well, what else am I supposed to do? Like, what? You can't make that a bad thing. How can you make winning the turnover battle a bad thing? Also, I never had a fake ID. I never borrowed. I love how Acho say, borrow someone else's ID. You mean someone's personality, identity? That's called theft, damn it, even though you're in college doing it. Here we go. Here's my take. I'm just getting upset at Acho because he's turning positives into negatives. This is a team that in week 1, week 2, week 3, even if you say this is our formula, it's not your identity. It hasn't hardened yet. The concrete hasn't settled just yet. No one's bought in fully. I think them being derailed by COVID and then rebounding, resurrecting, coming back to that mantra, coming back to that culture and realizing, oh, it's reliable. As you buy into what Belichick is saying, it's going to work week in, week out. Now you're starting to see it start to have momentum and start to carry over. So everyone in the AFC East, beware, because Cam Newton's in the building. Coming up, we're going to be joined by a Super Bowl champion. Yeah, Chiefs Pro Bowl tight end Travis Kelce will be with us next. Speak for yourself. Two of the most exciting quarterbacks in the league square off when Kyler Murray and the Cardinals take on Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. Thursday Night Football. This week, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox NFL Network and streaming on Prime Video. Love that song. And speaking of exciting, now joined by one of the most exciting tight ends in football, Chief star.
Yes, sir.
Super Bowl champion, accolade,
one and only.
Travis Kelce in the building, big dog. How's it going out there?
What's going on, guys?
What's up, bro?
Appreciate you guys having me. Hope you guys looking sharp as always.
Hey, my dog.
I'm looking a little sharper. Thank you for the compliment. Hey, big dog, you're an 8-year vet, man. You know how to spend a bye week, but how are you spending yours this week?
Well, just relaxing, man. Right now, I'm on the call with you guys on behalf of Old Spice. I've been using Old Spice ever since I was a kid, trying to shave something that was on my face that really wasn't even there. But nowadays, I'm partnering with Old Spice as a proud partner with other NFL athletes in their 10-year commitment to increase high school graduation rates amongst young men. And it's such an important deal for myself, knowing that I think that it's it all starts in adolescence. Doing the right things at a young age to set you up for your life in your future. And what better way than to start with graduating high school?
Hey, man, before we get in the ball, bro, I'm going to go off script because you my dog. You big on style, right? I'm just calling you Killer Trav because that's the social media handles. I'm not calling you Travis Kelce right now, okay? Straight Killer Trav. Why?
It's always Killer Trav, baby.
That's it. Why is fashion, style, all that so important to you? You dance when you score. Like, you've always stayed so true to you. Why is that so important, bro?
I think it's just having fun in life, man, enjoying the process that you're going through and being yourself through it all. I was mentioning it the other day. Deion Sanders, who is such that, his game was on a whole nother level, but his confidence was on a whole nother level. And that's what really, in my mind, made him great and made him such a fun player and person to follow in life is that, when you see somebody enjoying life at its fullest, and seeing them, having fun with the little things like getting dressed every single day and telling jokes and making people talk about the swagger. I mean, it's a whole lot of fun just doing that.
Then let's talk confidence on the football field. Y'all literally have only lost one game in a calendar year, but it was to the team that y'all are about to face. Be real with me, bro. It's just me, Marcellus, and you here. Are you prepared for this game like any other week? Or, if you're being honest, is there a little increased motivation knowing that this is a one team that's knocked y'all off in a year?
Without a doubt, there's a little motivation, and it's mostly just because of the historic rivalry that is the Chiefs and Raiders. This thing dates back to the 60s and far before my time in the football world and my time in the Chiefs uniform. A lot of people care about this game like it is their Super Bowl. I'm not going to say that's how they care. That's how they acted by doing 2 laps around the stadium when they won it.
You can say it.
But
you can say
I think personally, I take pride in every single division game that we play, knowing that the fans, it's everything to get those division wins. And on top of that, it's a goal. It's a goal. It's the first step in getting into the playoffs, winning the division. So you got to get excited week in, week out. But especially in the division, you got to take care of business. No better time than this week against the Raiders.
Now, you made mention of it, that victory lap after the win against you guys. Where does that land in your psyche in the locker room when you hear a team does a victory lap after they beat you?
Listen, if that's what you guys are doing, that's what you guys are doing. I'm just going to kind of piggyback on what Coach Reed said, and that ain't how we do it. We just go out there, we handle business on the road, and we walk away from the dub and giving everybody credit and vice versa. You know what I mean? We have full respect for everybody. If they feel like they got to do the victory lap, then, go ahead and do your thing, man. We're just going to go out here and handle our business and try and play football to our best ability this week.
Now, walk with me here, Travis. This is not all I do, be a commentator. I'm also head of the Treasury Department because I've been tasked with putting someone's face on the $100 bill for National Tight Ends Day. So I know you may think you're the greatest tight end out there, but I got some pushback. Some people said it was George Kittle. Who's the best tight end in the land? Who should I put on my $100 bill?
Oh man, I would say I probably would look nice on $100 bill. You know what I mean? Me and Benjamin, we have some of the same facial features, and man, there's so many great tight ends in the league that are worthy of being on that dollar bill, big dog. Another guy we're going up against in Oakland, Waller, is having a great year. Gronk is starting to hit mid-season to late-season form, looking like the Gronk that we all know he can be, or at least the spurts of it. It's exciting to see what he's been doing. And obviously George Kittle, man, second to none in his effort and his ability to play the game, man. He's an unbelievable player and an unbelievable guy, man.
Hey, bro, before the season, your boys was talking about a dynasty, trying to win 5, trying to win 6. Hey, outdo Jordan, win 7. Does that ever cross your mind? Is that realistic to build some sort of 5-6 chip dynasty in KC?
I think it's possible. I mean, the Patriots win, 8 times in the last 12 years or something like that? I don't even know what it is. But they've kind of set the tone for an organization having decades worth of dominance. And what we know we have in this building is something special. And we just try and take advantage of that every single day with the guys we have in this building and with the leadership we have in this building, knowing we have some of the best coaches and players that the National Football League's ever seen.
Now, you guys do have talent second to none. I mean, the offense is lethal. And even off-script plays, like when the play breaks down, you guys still find magic even in those moments. So how excited are you when plays break down and you feel like you could get something going?
Oh, man, it's like a freelance, man. At that point, it's just like you got freelance art. You can just throw Picasso up on the screen and make something look beautiful. And no better player to do that than Picasso himself, Patrick Mahomes, man. He makes plays that nobody's ever seen before, and it's extremely fun to play with a guy like that. But it's all controlled chaos, honestly. I mean, we have an unbelievable coach, Coach Andy Reid, another unbelievable offensive coordinator, and Coach Eric Bieniemy, and these guys set us up for success week in and week out. And we have a little bit of freedom throughout this offense, but we have to make sure that we're doing the right thing at the right time and not taking advantage of how much freedom we really have.
Man, I like talking ball, but I'm talking to my dog, so I just want to talk some of the fun within the game. Hey, everybody can do one dance when they score once or twice. But see, you score a lot more than once or twice, and you always got a dance move for them. How do you dictate what you're going to do when you get into the end zone, bro?
You just got to feel it out, man. You got to feel it out. I know I got a few moves in my back pocket I can pull out at any point in time. It just depends on what song is on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So depending on how I score and where we're at in the game and how much energy I have, because really it depends on how much energy I got. Because if I'm exhausted, you ain't going to see me dance out there. I can't get out there and look sloppy, man.
So you don't pre-decide what you're going to do when you score. You do it in a moment.
I did it one time, and it was when I hit the Deion Sanders shuffle, man. The Ickey shuffle, man. I hit it right there at in the end zone against LA, against the Chargers, and I knew going into it I was going to hit it. And I had to get it at least one time, man. I've been doing it on the football field ever since I was a kid.
Man, let's talk about how success and how it can change you, even for a good reason, for a bad reason. It just makes a difference. It changes you. Author right now, Emmanuel Acho, best-selling author. I'm going to have to put it out there for the world to understand. He all of a sudden becomes that. Now he wears red, double-breasted suits every day. Like, he a whole different animal. Hey, big dog, you become a Super Bowl champion. I want to hear from you and Patrick Mahomes. Like, what changed? What's different?
Man, what's changed? I mean, Pat was on GQ, man. He leveled up in the passing world. I'm trying to get on the cover of GQ still. What else, man? I would say, golly, man. I've become such a homebody. I haven't really been able to experience how the Super Bowl can change a guy. But for the most part, it's made me want to go out and get another one, man. It makes me want to keep coming into this building and working my tail off so I can reap the benefits and be at the top of the mountain every single year, man. For me, not much has changed, man. I'm still Killer Trav for Titan.
My dog. Well, Killer Trav, I got one final one for you, bro. You still in the prime of your career, but when it's all said and done, how does Killer Trav want to be remembered?
Man, that's such a good question, man. And honestly, I just want to be remembered on the field as somebody that played their tail off for the guy around them and was accountable through that process. I got so much love for the teammates and the coaches that have given me all the success that I've had individually, but also all the success that we've had as a team. And off the field, somebody that can help influence young adults or young kids or just people in general to do better for themselves or to help somebody do better next to them. It's honestly, it's a blessing to play in the National Football League and here in Kansas City with such a heartwarming and awesome community to play for, man.
Now, we always talk about up here, Travis, that the greatest ability is availability. And you're a player that since 2014 has played in every single regular season game. You had one healthy scratch because you guys already clinched a playoff spot. But talk to the youngsters out there about professionalism and talk about how your preparation physically and mentally to the game that's led to these results.
Oh, yeah. And you know it, man. The structure in your routine is everything. What you're doing outside of the facility is every bit of important as what you're doing in the facility and on the football field. You see all these awesome and top-tier athletes like LeBron James and Russell Wilson spending over $1 million on just their bodies, rehabbing, making sure that their athletic build is at its top peak. And it's a focus of making sure that you're being professional. When I came into the league, I had no idea what structure was for a professional athlete. I really had to learn exactly what it meant to eat right, to lift weights the right way, to almost do prehab so that you don't have to do rehab. It all works in the same way, and you guys know better than everybody, man. Once you get off track with that, man, it's all downhill. So you just got to make sure you're staying focused on the little things, even when it gets tough, man. Even when it gets tough, even more so when it gets tough. To really harp on the small things and making sure you're doing the right thing at all times.
Thanks for joining us, Travis, on behalf of Old Spice, man. Keep balling out there, big dog.
You know it, baby. We'll see you guys soon, man. Always fun.
All right, take care, brother. Coming up, Eagles keep on struggling, but we'll tell
Watch
you,
your
Carson
mouth.
Wentz.
Watch your mouth, Marcellus.
Or Doug Peterson is more to blame. We know who it is.
Hey.
Next, speak for yourself. Oh, I'm going to speak.
Watch your mouth, bro.
Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. The Eagles did not look good at all in their loss Sunday to the Giants, but they're still in first place. Eagles did not convert a third down for the first time in a game since 2004. Carson Wentz called the loss, quote, extremely frustrating, you think, while Doug Peterson had his own opinion. Take a listen.
I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off at myself. I'm pissed off at the way we played. And it's just, it frustrates me. It frustrates me to no end. And we have too much pride. And I have too much pride. These players have too much pride. We work our ass off during the week. It's frustrating. It is frustrating. And blame it on me all you want.
I will. I will. Oh, here we go. Who's more to blame for the Eagles' struggles, Wentz or Peterson?
You heard the man.
Who?
He said blame it on him all he wants. So what you think I'm going to do? I'm going to come up here and disobey the man who said blame him? I'm going to blame the head coach, Doug Peterson. Now, Carson Wentz, you making far too much money to not make me just one play. Just one. Carson, I just needed just one play from you, Carson. Just one play. Dude. And he ain't make me near one play.
Not your one.
Not one. But anyway, I need more from you, Carson. But if you're going to tell me who's at fault, Marcellus, it's Doug Peterson. You're coming off a bye week. You didn't have any wrinkles for me, bro. You didn't have any gadget plays for me. You didn't have nothing for me. Daniel Jones, prior to the bye week, skated on y'all for 80 yards. If not for the 35 or whatever yard line, he would have still been running. How do you go into this game and let Daniel Jones zone read you 35 yards to the crib? How? To me, that is coaching. What they got to do with Carson? That ain't got nothing to do with Carson. 0 for 9 on third down. I give a couple of them to Carson. I give about 3, 4, 5 of them to Carson. I'm not giving all 9 of them to Carson. That's what I'm not going to do. But lastly,
what?
Doug Peterson.
Oh, this is cute.
I love $2 bills. I do. I love them. But I don't love going for 2 on every single touchdown. Marcellus.
You hate that part.
Because it didn't make any sense. The score was, I believe it was 21-11. Philadelphia scores, and they go for 2.
What's wrong with that?
Why not just go for 1, make it 21-18?
It's 2 more points than 1?
So that you can kick the field goal to tie the game. It's 21-11. You go for 2. Now it's 21-17. They go score again. Now you can't score to win. Now if you score, you're only tying. Like Doug Peterson, bro. You said to hell with analytics. I went to the Sugar House Casino. Sugar House Casino in Philadelphia.
Whoa, that sounded illegal.
That's because I gambled. Doug Peterson, you stop doing this nonsense. You let me do that. I have less to play for. So if you making me choose who's more to blame, I'm going to listen to the head coach. I'm going to enact what the head coach said. Head coach said blame him. I'm going to blame him.
Damn, what'd you say? Sugar House Casino?
Sugar House.
Woo! There's some dudes sitting there in velour jogging suits with, like, flip-flops on, just sitting there. That sounds pretty illegal. I'm going to leave that alone. And I'm going to get to my take right here because I have so much going on right now. I don't know where to start, but I know it all points towards Carson Wentz. Oh, does it? Why? Because Carson Wentz is 31st in passer rating, 32nd in completion percentage, 31st in passing yards per attempt, and has the most giveaways in the NFL. I wonder if Carson Wentz is to blame or that's all on Doug Peterson. When Doug Peterson had Nick Foles for a year or two, and he was a winning quarterback, 8-2 with his regular season performances under Doug Peterson. Oh, but now he can't do anything with the regressing Carson Wentz. And I don't know about you, Acho, but I don't get my news just from online. I don't just get my news by my reading consumption of books. I also get my daily news from the old school newspapers. And let me open up one of my newspapers called Wentz Weekly, and this is the sports edition. Look at this as I point out the passer rating week by week for Carson Wentz versus his opponents. Now, if you guys look to the green, that means the opposing starting quarterback had a better passer rating than Carson Wentz. Wow. How many times did Carson Wentz outrate his opponent at quarterback rating? How many times, Acho? Anybody? 1. And that was Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins is the only guy that Carson Wentz has walked on the football field and walked off and said, I played better than you at the quarterback position. Carson Wentz. Acho, I like your face right now, so let's continue flipping in my old school newspaper. Let's look at the Wentz Weekly finance section because no way is Wentz only outrating one quarterback and making, whoa, wait a minute. Is this $39.383 million a year?
I don't read papers.
Oh, I can tell you're a millennial. But look at this in terms of how much money the opponents are making. Remember, he only outrated one quarterback. $1.15 million. I see a $750,000 guy. That's the only one you beat. I see $1.3 million, $700,000 by DiNucci, outrated. If you go through the newspaper section, sports, finance, everything suggests Doug Peterson has nothing to do with this. It's the overpaid and the underperforming guy named Carson Wentz. Coming up, he's dead. James Harden would reportedly rather play with KD and Kyrie than make $50 million a year.
$50 million?
I don't know. We'll break it all down next. Speak for yourself. Come on, Carson.
Well, welcome back to Speak for Yourself. Let's get to a huge story in the NBA. Woj was reporting James Harden turned down an extension from the Rockets that would have made him the league's first $50 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $50 million per year player. The report says Harden is focused on being traded to the Nets to join Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving on the NBA's next super team. Sheesh, $50 million. Yes! That sounds like Marcellus Wiley money. So Marcellus, if you James Harden, would you take the 50 mil or the chance at the ring?
Oh, you didn't have to finish the other part. The 50 mil? The 50 mil? Hell yeah, I'm taking the $50 million. Look, dog, I'm retired already. I know what matters from your playing days, what translates, what transitions with you. All the memories of we did it together, hip, hip, hooray, and playing that song. Man, I can look at that on TV and say, I lived through them. But you know what I can't look through TV and say? I can live his life based on the money I didn't make. No, life's a sandwich. No matter how you flip it, the bread comes first. That's life, dog. I don't give a damn about all these memories y'all talking about. I don't give a damn about all this camaraderie, this team building. I want the dough first and only.
Here's the problem, bro. We live in L.A., bro. So, you know, in L.A., they make sandwiches with no bread. Why? Because sometimes there are things more important than the bread.
Looking like you instead of me?
A legacy, Marcellus. Legacy.
What is this?
Think about this, bro.
Hey, legacies.
One of my favorite Rockets of all time.
So
not
silly.
Akeem Olajuwon, not Kenny the Tracy McGrady. My boy, I used to have T-Mac shoes, the black ones with the blue stripes. My dog, I used to rock T-Mac shoes, but we don't talk about Tracy McGrady anymore. Why? Because he ain't never win a chip. I don't even think my dog made it out the first round. T-Mac won a scoring title. Now, T-Mac didn't win 3 consecutive scoring titles. I'm not going to say all that. But T-Mac was a dude for the same organization, the Rockets. But he never won a chip. So although T-Mac lives near and dear to my heart, when it comes down to the hearts of NBA fandom for life, not a lot to show for it. Sell, $50 million is great.
You better not say anything else.
No.
It's all.
But there are some things in life that are priceless.
Hell no.
That
What?
money can't buy.
I can buy a ring? That ain't priceless. So what else you talking about? Oh, I can't buy the road and the opportunity. I can't buy the experience. I'm going to come close. Watch me with $50 million. Watch this. Hold on. You protein-style eating butt. Have you ever been around T-Mac? I have. You have. You ever been around T-Mac? Doesn't seem like he's suffering from much. Like, I hate legacy talk because it's always based on what others think of you. I hate legacy talk because it's always based on what they're saying about you. Give me $50 million in 1 calendar year. Give on. What y'all say about me, because I won't hear you. I will have layers on layers of bunkers and moats to separate me from the common people.
But, bro, when you lay in your head in your bed at night, yeah, you got your 50 mil. You do got your 50 mil. But you ain't got you a ring.
What is the ring?
You ain't got you a ring.
You know how many sorry champions we both know? And you know how many broke rich people we know? We don't know any broke rich people. Because when you're rich, you're not broke. But when you're a champion, you can be sorry.
What do you play the game for?
Money.
Beyond that, you don't just play the game for money. You don't just play the game for the women. You don't just play the game for fame. You don't just play. You play to win the game. Who said that? Wasn't it Herm? You play to win the game.
If you play to make money, everything else will come to you. If you play to make money, you got to be good. If you play to make money, you're going to be healthy. You play to make money, you got to be a valuable asset to the team. You play to make money, you got to be impactful. Everything comes from making money. They don't give the money to nobody who doesn't deserve it. So get your money. But they are running a scam on people. Get a ring and take less money.
He's got a good... There is a law of diminishing returns, Sal.
I like
it. A law of diminishing returns where it's like, you know what? I've made enough money. Now, you can always make more, but I made enough money. Now, what else can I make? What else can I do with that? What else can I do besides just make money?
You got cousins that are going to beg when you retire. Hook them up, too. Another IRA. Another IRA. I don't give a damn. This rings, I hate this ring conversation because it shouldn't trump what you're doing. You're a businessman.
Let me ask you this real quick.
Yes.
Do you think players who have won a ring, at least just one, not multiple, who've won a ring, would they give up that ring for X amount of money?
Yeah, I would. If I were one of those guys, look, would you pay $6 million in your annual salary just to win a ring? Would you? Coming up, Uncle Jimmy joins us, and he's not holding back on the Eagles. Next, that's what they asked James Harden to do, with no guarantees. Hell no. Speak for yourself. $6 million? Before we go, Uncle Jimmy is here. So, here you have some things to get off your chest about the Eagles. Take it away.
Hey, man, listen. I have come to the conclusion that the Philadelphia Eagles are America's team.
Oh, no.
They are America's sorriest ass team in sports. Hey, man, the only good thing that we as Americans have been able to agree on about 2020 is that we can't wait for 2020 to be over. And we all we had to admit that we enjoyed the hell out of seeing that turf monster attack Daniel Jones. Hey, man, let me tell you something. That's one of the great moments in sport. Like, where was you when Mark Sanchez made the football shoot out his butt? Or where was you the night in Pittsburgh where they had the Immaculate Conception? Or where was you the night that Antonio Brown burnt up his feet? Some things in sports you never forget. You see what I'm saying? This was one of those times. See what I mean?
I do hear you. What another moment like that? Tom Beebe, when he called to do the Super Bowl? That's all I got, baby. Fox Bet Live's next.